Hi everyone, and welcome to another fantastic car here on the Car Reviews podcast with CollectorCarCanada.ca. Today, we have a 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster. Normally, I don't start the car for a few minutes, but with this one, I want to show you the top going up and down to erase any doubts you might have about it, and I prefer to do that while the engine's running. So here comes a startup. You might have noticed I was not feeling around the steering wheel or the steering column to start the car. This car has a push button start, and unlike most push button starts, the button's on the top of the shift knob. So that's where I was reaching. So I'm gonna bring the top up, and we're gonna bring it down and continue the video. So you know it's done its thing when you see the display in the dash change. While it's in operation, there's a little message saying retractable roof in operation with a little diagram of it. So now I'm going to pop her back down. And the display is back to normal on the dash. So with that, I'm going to shut the engine down, and we'll start talking about this 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG and Roadster. So this car is on our website as lot 261. You'll find it as number 261 on CollectorCarCanada.ca. And it checks in with, I read the odometer today, 85576. So it's going to its new owner with under 86,000 kilometers. Canadian market car. The speedometer goes up to 260 kilometers an hour. So we see the kilometers an hour as the primary measure on the speedometer, and not just one tell that it's a Canadian car. Canadian market car, that is. Built in Stuttgart, Germany, of course. So we've got a beige metallic over a creamy beige leather interior. We've got the exact, not only names of the colors from Mercedes-Benz, but we've even got the color codes on the detailed listing. And now I think what I'll do is I'll do a dedicated startup. We can listen to the engine idle and the exhaust pipes, and we'll start a little tour. So here we go with the startup. Again, the key I have is right here. I'm going to place it on the dash. You can see my hand goes above the shifter to start it. Okay, no trouble at all with the start. I'll just pop the hood here, and then I'll go grab the camera, and we'll get a good look at the engine and listen to it idle and continue our little tour. All right, so you can notice the hood's open a crack for me releasing it in the cabin. Another release right here in the center of the hood. Pretty simple one. Sometimes that can be a challenge with one hand on the camera, but no trouble at all. So, including it being very powerful, the engine is really clean. So I'll zoom in on the belts that are running, and we can get a good listen to those. Pan out on that clean engine cover, and we can take a closer look at some of the components. There are two batteries in this car. This is called the starter battery, as you see on that label there. And this one is a Mercedes-Benz branded battery. The battery that is in the trunk, which controls or sort of powers everything else other than starting, is in the trunk. And we noted how that was replaced in May of 2025. It comes with a transferable 3-year warranty. So take a look at the detail listing for lot 261 for all the details on that new battery. I'll call it the accessory battery, but it's the one that's in the trunk. Nice Mercedes-Benz emblem on the engine beauty cover, as well as the big V8 embossing. So 5.5 liter V8. You might expect the 5.5 liter being that it's an SL550. The two first digits in the number in the model name are the same as the displacements. The shock tower is really clean, really clean. 2010, and not a hint of any imperfection on those shock towers. And I'll take a look at the hood insulation as well. Also nice and clean. And here we have the option codes for the car, as well as some other factory data on this label. So I'll move away and put that hood down. I'll also note while I'm here, and it catches my eye, that the front end of the car is covered in a PPF. You can see that line there. My side of the line, the camera side of the line, is a film to protect the paint. Moving our way back to the exhaust pipes. Dual exhaust, rounded rectangular exits on either side. So everything nice and clean. I'm going to cut that engine. Now you'll see up close that I use the button on the shifter to kill the engine. How do you like that? So we'll start a little tour in depth of the car now on the exterior, starting with the exterior. Again, a 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster. And so this is a W230 model, W230 body out of Mercedes-Benz, and it was reskinned right around the time this car was built. The R230, I might have said W230, I meant R230, R for Roadster. The R230 began with the 2003 model year, but this one is after the facelift it was given, sort of midstream in the R230. Take a close look at the front tire on the driver's side. Continental Extreme Contact. I can see with my naked eye 255/35 ZR19 with a Y speed rating, and I also see a 2022 date code. Although that's 3 years past, very little mileage on the tires since they were installed. I would estimate, based on discussions with the owner, under 5,000 kilometers. So not brand new tires, but not much use at all. Continuing on, there's a V8 badge here. The early R230s did not have the V8 badge. And there's a little bit of venting here as well that reminds me, I mean, it's a totally different car, but it does remind me back of the Mercedes-Benz McLaren SLR. If you're not familiar with that car, Dr. Google can help you out with that. This car is super fast with 382 horsepower, but the SLR is a different animal altogether. Lots going on this side mirror, color-coded side mirrors on either side. This is a lens for a light, so the when the turn signals are activated, the turn signals appear through the mirror as well, giving a side vehicles to the side of the car can see those, and heated power as you'd expect for the 2010 Mercedes-Benz. But looking around it, I don't see too many flaws. I don't see any flaws on the exterior. I'm going to keep my eyes open for them, But to the seller's credit, one thing they mentioned to us is that there was a little bit of paint done, and the details are on our detailed listing. However, off the top of my head, I cannot remember if it was the driver's side rear quarter panel or the passenger side. And when I look to the car up close, the seller's not around right now, but when I look up at the car up close, I can't tell which side it was done on. But as I say, there are some details about that. And I say to the seller's credit because, as you'd expect, we do have a Carfax for this vehicle on the detailed listing for lot 261. This shopping cart mishap, the shopping cart scratches, do not appear, the repair does not appear on the Carfax. But we knew about it, so we disclosed it. So the AMG 19-inch wheel here on the rear, you can see the AMG branding, as well as the Mercedes-Benz center caps on the matching set of wheels, staggered wheels. So that's why I'm gonna mention the rear tire size, which is 285 30 ZR19 here on the rear. Y speed rating. And I also see a 2022 date code for the rear tire. So we get a good look at the sort of rear 1/4 view here. Going in up close, you can see this antenna. And when you can see that when the top is down, it stows in neatly here. This here is a roll bar with a windscreen included. So that's a power roll bar. There's a control for it inside the car. And even when it's in the down position, Mercedes-Benz promises you're safe. When the car senses a rollover, if that roll bar is not up and in place, it automatically activates to protect the occupants of the car during a rollover. So a good look at the rear. One thing that stands out to me is that AMG emblem. So this has this AMG cosmetic package on the SL550. The twin exits, as I mentioned, when we listened up to the listened closely to that idler from the exhaust, and that screen sort of in between the two sort of is a bit of a hint that we're dealing with a performance car here. And you can also see the reverse sensors in place. And I always like this view of a convertible with the top down. You can see right into those right into the cabin. Two-place convertible, as with all SLs. SL is a German acronym, but loosely translated, it means sport light. So the words are similar in German, but of course they're a little different. Working our way across, here's a good look at the AMG branded wheel here on the passenger's rear. I'll also note now that the brakes, of course it's an 4-wheel ABS system. All 4 rotors are cross-drilled, so not just the fronts, they're cross-drilled at all 4 corners for the brakes. So Continental Extreme Contact, matching the rear tire on the driver's side. I'll just double check the date code, and I do see a 2022 date on that one as well. Here's that same venting over here. I passed by the fuel door. I'll open that up to have a look at that. Nice and clean in there as well. You can see the labels that come along with it. And moving our way, a matching mirror on this side with that turn signal functionality. The venting that I say reminds me a bit of a Mercedes-Benz McLaren SLR. And the front wheel on the passenger side at 255 35 ZR19. Y-rated Continental Extreme Contact. And just seeking out for the date code, and there it is, also 2022. So we're getting a little bit of sun. Boy, that car looks great in the sun. One other little detail I like seeing on Mercedes is the authentic Mercedes-Benz windshield. Oh, and this is kind of fun too. Even the wiper blades have the Mercedes-Benz emblem on them. So no one cut any corners with service if we're finding the Mercedes-Benz emblem on the wipers as well. Headlight washer system in place. Here's where it pops up and sprays the light. Down here we got a set of fog lights. Dual sort of grills for air intake for that engine. Up above and down below. And in the center, we've got the two emblems, one through the grille without the wording and one on the hood with the wording. That's a pretty close match to the center caps. A little bit of sporty looking vent work on the hood itself as well. So there's a good look at the exterior of lot 261 on CollectorCarCanada.ca, 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster. Let's move on into the inside of the car, into the cabin, and we'll get a good look. Right now, the winter mats are in place, and winter's a bit of a misnomer, as you'd expect. This car's not been driven in the winter, but all that to say that these are a rubber set of Mercedes-Benz mats. We're out in the country here, and I suspect the owner prefers those because not at this fine, on this fine driveway in a beautiful neighborhood, but as I say, we're kind of in a country neighborhood, and it might get a little dusty on people, the soles of people's shoes, and that's probably why those rubber mats are in place. So there's a look at some functionality on the driver door, power seat, 3 memory positions. We got the heat for the seat, and we have the cooling function for the seat. And on the right side, you can see a diagram of the seat with an arrow. That is to denote the fan installed on the headrest. So if you're running the air conditioning, you can even get cool air blowing on the back of your head and neck. I always think it's opulence when someone's driving around with the convertible with the top down and running the air conditioning. And this, I guess, is opulence and decadence. Not just the AC running, but even some air being blown onto the back of your neck to keep cool. Power windows for both sides. There's a little storage compartment here inside of the door card. Harman Kardon sound. You can see the Harman Kardon emblem right there on that big speaker. And I'll show it to you on this side, as well as the memory function and the AC in the headrests on the driver or the passenger side, and same with the storage compartment in the passenger door. So getting a good look at the instrumentation beyond the 3-spoke with airbag steering wheel, burl walnut wood throughout the interior of the car. So on the door card, on the steering wheel, other than where you grip it, where it's leather, and then in the center console as well. So getting a good look at that odometer, it's going to its new owner with under 86,000 kilometers. Speedometer maxes out at 260 kilometers an hour. Tachometer, in case, don't be fooled by the trip odometer there. Oh, it just went out. But it was at 9,447 with a decimal, and the needle was blocking the decimal. So under 86,000 kilometers. Don't be fooled by what was on the trip odometer. So on either side of those two sort of primary gauges, coolant temperature on the left, gas gauge on the right, a multi-function head unit with telephone function. We'll fire that up to get a look at the graphics. You can see we got the Mercedes emblem when we fire it up. And I'll actually start the car here. Command is the navigation system in place on this car. There's a neat look at the modern retro radio display. And then there's various settings, as you might expect. That's for the navigation, a mute button, and these are telephone number buttons, and they also double as presets for the radio. So I'll turn off the car, we don't need it running. Power lock buttons surrounding a 4-way flasher switch, a digital clock up top, which is set by the same clock as the one that's in the head unit. So the clock in the head unit and the clock up here in the dash are always in agreement. They're merely displays of a clock that's located elsewhere. Cruise control. I'm getting carried away with all these accessories, but more on the meat and potatoes side. You can see the plus and minus icons on either side of the D for drive. So this car's got a sport shift. We've got details about it on the detailed listing for lot 261. on CollectorCarCanada.ca. So the transmission can be shifted in the forward gears, a 7-speed automatic, side to side here, or there are shift paddles in place. To upshift, it's here on the right side of the steering wheel. To downshift, on the left side. And steering wheel buttons on the left, we've got some functionality to control the various settings of the trip computer. And on the right, volume and phone controls for the head unit. And you can see the SRS airbag logo there on the glove box. So front airbags, and as you'd expect, there's some side airbags on either side as well. I'm gonna pop open the glove box, and it looks pretty clean. There's a good look at the clean glove box. And while I'm thinking of it, I do know that the manuals were seated behind the passenger seat. So there's a good look at the Mercedes attaché in which they came, and all the original books are here. It's just a little difficult for me to manipulate them with the one hand on the camera, but they're in place. Nice leather attaché to go with them. The seats you can see they're perforated leather to keep cool, and I think I already mentioned how they're heated and cooled. And then here are the vents to blow the fan air onto the interior, well, the occupants of the car. So here's a good look again now. So there's the odometer at 85,576. And then over here on the right, now you can see the decimal point there. I'm familiar enough with these cars to know that that's a trip odometer. So it hasn't been reset in quite a long time. So in addition to the seat controls here, we can go back and forth with this control as well. Makes for a little easier access to behind the seats. There's a bit of storage there, another one on the other side. And these are, I don't know if I remember how to open them, but they flip down so that you can hook your, oh, here we go. You can hook your items, well, you can wrap them around this this strap, and then the strap connects in here, kind of like seatbelt style, so that if you're using this parcel shelf in the rear, the items aren't gonna bounce around on you. And it's a one touch to operate the seat to go back. Pretty nice Mercedes-Benz emblem on the door sill. I'm not gonna call that chrome. I think it's plastic, but it's got a nice chrome look to it. Here's some more seat control. We've got lumbar here as well as a pulsing action. So it's kind of like a massaging action. I think the manufacturers want to stay away from the word massage, and it's by the book, it's intended to keep a driver alert. And there's even a little bit of smart stowage space here in each seat. Few items on the controls here in the center by the shifter. This is to turn off the reverse sensors. These are settings for the suspension. S for sport, C for comfort, M I don't recall. And then this on the left here, that's a control to set the ride height. So I might show you that in our closing thoughts when I'm sitting back in the driver's seat. You can see how the car can elevate. ABC Sport, it's a sport suspension. And this is the control to operate the power top. And of course there's a console here. Pretty neat and tidy with a couple of connections for electronics. So that's a good look at the interior of the 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550. Okay, so there's a good look at the 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster. One last function I wanted to show you. I mentioned about the power retractable roll bar. I can show you that in action here. So I guess it was my temptation to show you a video of the car with it down. One last thing to sort of confuse the picture. But here it is on its way up. the button, the control for it is just below the button for the retractable top itself. So you can see there's a windscreen in touch, a wind deflector in place. It's just attached by Velcro, but it's also included with the car. And I'll pop it back down. There we go. So I wanted to have the engine running. As I did that, I'm going to cut the engine again with the button on the gear selector. So in closing, 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster, under 86,000 kilometers. Couple of things that have slipped my mind while we're talking about the video. There's just so much to say about this car in how well equipped it is. But it comes with a clean Carfax. I did mention that earlier. And the other great item for an Ontario buyer is it comes Ontario safetied. So one less hurdle to get through to register it in your name if you're in Ontario. Under 86,000 kilometers, 382 horsepower from the factory, 391 pound-feet of torque from the 5.5 liter V8 engine, 7-speed automatic, getting the power to the rear wheels. All the wheels are by AMG and AMG branded, 19 inches all the way around, but staggered width, so a little wider in the rear, and they come with the very low mile Continental Extreme Contact Y-rated tires. I could go on and on about this beauty. 2010 Mercedes-Benz SL550 AMG Roadster, available as lot 261 on CollectorCarCanada.ca. Thank you for watching, and on to the next car.